Good afternoon. I'd like to call today's meeting of the Forest and Beach Commission to order on Thursday, April 9th at 2:30 p.m. Welcome. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Berling?
Here.
Commissioner Brezoczky?
Present.
Commissioner Ross?
Here.
Commissioner Rutta?
Here.
Chair Michie?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any announcements today from anybody on the dais? No? Okay.
Once again, you'll see at your places that I put the flyer for Earth Day
Thank you.
next weekend, the 18th. And there's flyers up at the front if anybody wants them, and it'll be in Devendorf Park.
Perfect, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, these are beautiful, whoever did those. Thank you. Okay, we'll go into public appearances. Members of the public are entitled to speak on matters of municipal concern not on the agenda during public appearances. Each person's comments shall be limited to 3 minutes or as otherwise established by the chair. While stating your name is optional, it helps to identify speakers in the meeting minutes. Under the Brown Act, public comment for matters on the agenda must relate to that agenda item, and public comments for matters not on the agenda must relate to the subject matter jurisdiction of this legislative body. Remote or in-person participants who do not comply with the requirements of the Brown Act will be muted. Do we have any public appearance today from the audience? No. Do we have any online, Yvette?
Cindy Lloyd, go ahead.
Hi, Cindy.
Good afternoon, Chair Michie and members of the Forest and Beach Commission and city staff. My name is Cindy Lloyd. I was hoping to be with you in person today, but I am kind of working against the weather that is working against a garden tour that is that has been scheduled for Sunday afternoon. So I want to get everything done before the rain starts. And if any of you are around and want to come, please feel free to stop by. It's put on by the Carmel Neighborhood Association, so it's a very small flower garden tour. I probably got the biggest garden, and I've been working on it for a month. But at any rate, what I wanted to share with you was at the City Council meeting on Tuesday, during public appearances, I did mention to them the beautiful work that Public Works Department has done with planting native plants on Rio Road, all the way down in the medians between the Mission and Mission Trail Nature Preserve, and they're absolutely beautiful. I didn't know how many people were aware that Public Works had planted them, or where they came from, or what they were, but anyway, it was a full house. And so at least a few more people know that when they are driving down that way and they need to slow down or else they'll get caught by the speed trap, there's something that the city has taken care of, and very beautifully. So I wanted to thank you again for that and let you know Public Works is still my favorite department.
Thank you, Cindy. In fact, I was listening to that meeting and I did hear you say that, and I heard you give a shout out to Ken. So yep. Thank you. And Justin. And one quick question. You mentioned that there's a home garden show coming up. Do you have the dates for that? Were you making an announcement on that as well? A comment?
No, I wasn't going to make an announcement, but I certainly can. It's on Sunday, this coming Sunday, from 1 to 4. And I probably should have stopped a flyer by to let you know, but my garden is at 24329 San Juan Road in Carmel Woods. So you just take a north-hand turn at Guadalupe from Serra and immediately stay on the uphill, which is Portola, and go to the end of Portola, which is only 3 blocks long.
Okay.
And that's where my garden is. So anyway, come
Thank
on
you
if
so
you
much,
feel
Cindy.
like it. You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, anybody else have that? No? Okay. All right, move on to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are routine in nature and do not require discussion or independent action. Members of the commission or the public may ask that any item be considered individually for purposes of board commission discussion and/or for public comment. Unless that is done, one motion may be used to adopt all recommended actions. And today, we have approval for the March Forest and Beach meeting minutes. Someone would like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Berling?
Yes.
Commissioner Brezoczky?
Yes.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes.
Commissioner Rutta?
Yes.
Commissioner Michie? Chair Michie? Excuse
Yes.
me. Thank you. This motion is passed.
Thank you. Okay, today we have a public hearing. Consideration of an appeal filed for the denial of request to remove one Monterey pine tree at Junipero Street, 6 northeast of 8th Avenue, TR 25-332. Justin, if you want to tell us about that?
Thank you, Chair Mickey.
Thank you.
All right, so the background on this is we received a tree removal permit to remove the double stem, so it is both trees, both stems, double stem tree at Junipero, 6 northeast of 8th in December, I believe it was. It came with a arborist report stating the tree's lean and claiming bark beetles. So we went out and looked at the tree and found that the woodpecker activity appeared to be more in the bark plates and more for stashing acorns and less about going after beetles. And then I did a review of the historical photos, and it looked, the tree's been leaning for the past 15 years in the same angle and pitch. So we had planned to hear that last month, and then a new report came in the week of, so as it wasn't able to be agendized, we had to continue it. So now we're back here with the full information. So the new arborist report came in April 9th, the week of the Forest and Beach Commission meeting. This one also was a higher level of assessment. There was a drill test for internal decay, as well as some stating a historical evaluation as well, with trees around stating how the trees around that tree have been removed over the past 20 years and how that could change the wind effects on the tree. And then there was a identification of a possible fungal pathogen in the trunk. The Western gall rust, and as we were up here on site, appeared to me that was just reaction swelling from an old pruning cut. Again, the tree's been leaning for 15 years at least, and the trees that were removed were from the prevailing northwest wind direction. They weren't blocking from the south wind, and the tree's leaning into the damaging south winds. And those trees were removed prior to the heaviest storms we've had in the past 10 years. The decay that was found in the one side was there, but it was minor, and it was not in the plane of the lean. So in my opinion, I believe that tree is still sound and can be retained with pruning. As there was construction around the tree in the past 5 years, an addition put onto the back, but that has been well over a year, so this is not related to construction. So citing the chapter 17.48.070, the findings required to remove a significant tree, which the tree was considered significant in the preliminary site assessment. If it's not related to construction and it's not damaging the house, then there really isn't a way, a means to remove it. What I could say is what we could be appealing now is not necessarily the tree removal permit, but the tree's significance. So in the preliminary site assessment, there's a question that says, does this tree pose an above normal risk to life and property? And I have to say, I don't believe it does. It's leaning, it's large and it's leaning, but it is healthy, and there's a lot of new wood growth put on. So we live in a forest and trees lean in the forest, so that's what I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Justin.
Of course.
Mr. or Mrs. Silvestri, would you like to come up, or do you have a representative who? Okay, thank you.
As terrifying as it is, I thought a picture, which is worth 1,000 words, but you standing under the tree is,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
There you go, Sarah. I
Is
apologize.
worth more than a picture.
Thank you.
There's a picture inside. I only have that many.
That's okay, I'll look
You're
at this
good,
one.
you're good. Well, look, most of what I was going to say has been covered by your presence, which was fantastic. To stand under this. As you saw, the base of the tree is 6 feet, less than 6 feet actually from the house. At the roof line, it's less than 4 feet from the house. I've been under the impression that we were looking for a removal permit for just that tree and not both. So that needs to be.
I was unclear, so it's up to you. You're the one filing it, so you
Yeah,
can say.
no, that should really be, the other
Just the
one
one.
seems vertical and.
Okay, that's what we thought when we were
Yeah,
on site too.
yeah, exactly. So, as you can see from the photo, it's approximately a 17-degree lean. It's an asymmetrical canopy which completely covers the house. I've been advised that that canopy, the way it's grown, has been a manifestation of a kind of competition with its neighbor. The two trees are there, the canopy has tended to grow away to find its own life and light. What was concerning to me was that I was also advised that quite possibly the root plate has behaved in a very similar manner. That the root plate, moving in the direction away from the lean, which is where the greatest stability would come from, may in fact be compromised because that's where the other tree is. So, as mentioned by Justin, there was construction done there. I know there's been new drainage lines put in there. I don't know if there's been any damage to the root system. I do know that they cut my neighbor's irrigation lines by mistake. So that's certainly a concern. Let's see. Mention has been made of the fact that there were 2 trees removed, probably within 50 to 100 feet of them, which are a protection from west and northwest wind. Justin seems to have indicated that the south wind is more terrifying, but there is this thought that their ability to withstand wind has been changed from what the tree grew up in because of the loss of those other trees. I come here with blessings from my neighbors. This is from Mark and Krista Rutta, and these letters are in your little packet. And they say, I am writing to formally bring your attention to a hazardous condition involving a tree located on the neighboring property at Junipero 6, northeast of 8th. The tree in question is a large pine that appears to be structurally compromised. It is currently leaning toward both my neighbor's residence and our home. During recent storms, dead branches have repeatedly fallen from the tree, creating an ongoing foreseeable risk that, of course, would be mitigated by pruning. We have not done the pruning that we have been cleared to do to date because we've been in the process of trying to assess the health of the tree. And we thought it was better to see what we've got there and how it has behaved. The condition has created a reasonable fear for personal safety, particularly during periods of heavy wind and rain. The risk is not speculative, rather it is imminent and continuing. Accordingly, I fully support the request for the removal of the tree due to its hazardous and unhealthy state. In my view, this is not a question of if the tree will fall, but when. Thank you for hearing our concerns, Mark and Kristen. And a brief note from our neighbor on the other side, Dr. and Mrs. Lonstein. Dear Alan, we had a leaning pine that was a danger to our neighbors, and we share your concern regarding the Monterey pine leaning over your home and support your effort to eliminate the risk of failure and its negative consequences to life and property by removal. So just to wrap this up and not take any more of your valuable time, we have reached out to 2 local arborists. They have given us their professional opinion. And I think we need to say something about risk. Justin alluded to this also. Yes, we live in a forest. Sandra and I have lived in the highlands for almost 40 years. Lots of trees. We've planted lots have come down. So we've lived around the reality of trees. A bit of history that the members may or may not know is we actually own this house next door where the 2 trees are. And back when we owned it, there were 2 very similar trees in the front of that house. One had a very similar degree of lean right at the bedroom, facing the bedroom just the way this house does. It got to the point where, and I hope you don't mind.
I'll speak up if I need to.
Yeah, it got to the point where during a rainstorm, she could not stay in her home. And it ultimately became the principal reason why we sold the home. We did attempt to obtain a permit. It was rejected. We didn't really pursue it back then. We turned tail and we ran. So when we saw this house not that long ago,
So House in Highlands is for sale.
yeah, we're selling finally the homestead after all these years. We clearly love the town, love the location, everything about it. We immediately saw the tree. And of course, we immediately knew that we would have to consider this. But what we also saw was that the 2 trees that had terrified us for so long were no longer there. And that told us that someone had accomplished what we had been unable to accomplish. They got this risk realized, and they were able to get something done about it. So our feeling was we're committed to, obviously, Carmel, and we're committed to this beautiful house. And we feel that this tree, as a mature Monterey pine, presents a horribly risky situation for us, for our family. This is really not about tree health in an interesting way. I know this tree is not failing completely right now as we all sit here, but the forces involved, the fact that the gravitational center of this event is probably at least over the middle of the home, that it potentially would do horrible, life-threatening damage to people and to property, and to our neighbor, we feel it's really worth us taking the steps to see if we can have our neighbors agree that, yes, there's such a thing as taking a risk, but how much do you take? we feel this might be an amount of risk that is more than we should take. So I thank you for your, giving us the opportunity to come here and speak our mind and share some thoughts.
Thank you so much,
Right.
Mr. Sylvester.
Thank
Can I
you.
ask you to stand for just one moment?
Sure.
Did perhaps, we will have to go to public comment in a moment, but while we have you here, does anybody have any question for Mr. or Mrs. Silvestri while they're standing here? No? Okay.
I just wanted to be, so you used to own the property next door?
Right.
And you sold that?
Yes.
So you've purchased this property?
Yes,
With the tree in place as is?
yes,
Okay.
yes. We've only owned this property for, is it a year now? Yeah, about a year.
And if I can clarify one thing, are you just asking for the one tree?
Yes.
To be removed, not the,
Yes.
okay,
The other tree is
the neighbors?
pretty much, well,
Okay.
the neighbors are fine with whatever happens.
Okay.
They feel that they're supporting us with whatever happens. The other tree is perfectly vertical, and the side loading, there are none of these issues with the adjacent tree that there are with this one.
And it's a
So-
separate tree.
Is the adjacent tree, is the owner of that adjacent tree one of these two letters that we have?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
that's Dr. and Mrs. Lonston.
Okay,
And those letters are in your packet.
okay, all right, thank you very much.
All right,
Mr.
thank you for
Silvestri.
the time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I have one quick
Oh, you
question.
have a question, okay.
Just to clarify, when you were doing the construction, did you notice any issues with the route?
We
You didn't do the construction?
Yeah, we didn't do the construction.
Okay.
It was completely finished when we got
Got it.
there.
Okay.
But, if I would have a moment, Albert Weiss's, how did I do with that? Pretty good, Weiss's? Albert is our arborist.
Okay.
He might have something to add to what I said. Do you have anything briefly you could add?
Would you like to come up, Mr. Weisfuss?
That's okay?
Yes, please.
Hi.
Hello.
Did very well, thank
Well, thank you. I can stop shaking.
you. You and me both. My name's Albert Weisfuss, certified arborist, and I'm track qualified. And I've been doing this about 40 years or so now. We met sort of last time. Yeah,
Yes.
virtually. Yeah, thank
Yes.
you. I've been on both sides of this fence. I was with the city of Monterey for 20 years. I was on their city arborist for my last 8 years. I contracted with the city of Pacific Grove as their arborist for 15 years. I still contract with the city of Seaside for 12 years as their arborist. So I have a lot of respect for Justin and understand his position right now. I'm on the other side of this fence right now, and my role is to try and present a case that says the tree is more a higher risk than normal for my clients. So that's what we're trying to present to you guys today. Mr. Silvestri, I think, touched on a lot of important things. I think that looking at what the city provides with their tree evaluation worksheet that you, Justin, go through, I think it's, I would personally kind of classify it as a level 1 versus a level 2 or a level 3 assessment. To me, it's kind of a visual, subjective kind of findings, checking, marking boxes and numbers. Where what we looked at was a little bit more advanced. We went to a level 3, which has different factors involved. There's climbing or soil excavations or resistance testing or tomography testing, like we did resistance testing. Only one spot, I think, that just to see what was going on in a part of the tree that had a lot of resin on it on the backside. We did some soil excavations, so we sort of brought that up to a level 3. I think that what we're looking at, is a tree that, is been growing suppressed in the manner that it grows. And like Justin stated, historical documents shows 15 years or more, probably more. What we start to look at now is at what point do we say the tree probably should come out if we're finding defects in the tree and remove that risk. And I think what we're looking at now is not taking out the whole tree like originally was discussed, but just a second more suppressed tree growing over there. So we're looking at the targets that are involved, the people and the houses, the condition of the tree. There's some defects in there. The swelling we talked about, I couldn't say for sure if that's what I thought it was the Western gall rust. Could be an old pruning wound, but there is swelling around that old pruning wound. So trees react with swelling because they're compensating for an internal defect in making new wood. So I would think that if that were an old cut, an old wound in there, maybe a little fracture opened up or some decay got in there, something irritated it and caused it to create this swelling area. So that's considered a defect in that part of the tree. We talked about cabling or pruning, things like that. I think the tree doesn't really warrant cabling. I think it's too mature. The lean is pretty pronounced. I don't know if we could really cable to support the tree that well. Pruning the tree for weight reduction, when you have a tree with that heavy of a lean to it, to really compensate weight reduction, you have to really prune a lot out of the tree. So we can't really prune for weight out of the tree without affecting the overall integrity of the tree. So we kind of ruled out pruning. There's a lot of broken failures in the tree from past storms, so the canopy is becoming more fractured, opened up, meaning it's more exposed to storm damage, things like that. I tend to disagree a little bit about the exposure and protection from the other trees. I know that they did provide protection in the past. Climate, storms are changing. They're coming out of the east now, stronger than they used to. They're just coming in all different directions now. So we're just looking at a tree that has a higher risk. Why? We've already know that's been that way for 15 years. How long do we continue to wait? Like Mr. Silvestri stated, it's not a matter of if it's going to fall, it's when is it going to fall. So why not take the risk out and mitigate with something else, whether it be planting on that property or planting for the city someplace else, something like that. The last part of this I'll just kind of close really quick with is last week there was a very significant whole tree failure in the city of Seaside. Perfectly calm on Easter Sunday night, perfectly calm night. You guys had a pretty large failure here in Carmel on, Justin probably would know the address, San Antonio. Big cypress tree fell, perfectly calm night. So it doesn't really take a big storm. It doesn't take anything. If the tree's defective and it has problems, it's a higher risk tree with high value targets and people, why not mitigate it and take it out before it creates a problem for everybody involved? You, them,
I have one question. Is it actually two trees or?
I feel like it's two trees. I know the original arborist report called it as a codominant. When I kind of dug around the soil area and the root collar area, I felt like the suppressed tree growing out this way had a formation of a root collar with some roots that were being pushed out to the, I'm going to say right and left of the tree behind it. So I felt like it was probably two little seedlings that dropped in there naturally at some point and started together. That tree is pretty straight. So it's just been its whole life been suppressed that way without an opportunity for correction to get back over center.
So can I ask you a question about that? So you take this tree out, I assume you take it out of the stump and grind the stump and do all of that?
No grinding, because you're going to impact the tree that's still remaining.
I think that's my question, is even doing that and taking this tree out, what would that do to the remaining tree?
So because I feel that it's two separate trees, it's probably not going to impact that tree immediately in short term. Long term, possibly in underground roots have grafted together. So over time, if that stump that's remaining decay starts to travel down, it could transfer into the remaining tree, but I feel that's a pretty long ways down the road.
And what about things like wind? Is the existing tree helping protect?
I don't think as much because the tree we're discussing is more suppressed. So the canopy is out beyond the tree, a little lower, a little bit past the remaining tree. So this tree is above this tree, suppressing this one. I don't think it's buffering it too much, if at all.
Mr. Weiss, can I ask you how old you think that the tree is and what you think its lifespan would be, barring anything happening to it?
Yeah, guessing life tree ages is pretty hard. For me, it's pretty hard. 75, 80, maybe, I'm sort of guessing the age of those two trees. If you're in the perfect scenario, Jack's Peak, Huckleberry Hill, someplace where they're in their natural habitat, no development around them, 90, 100, maybe 110 for a perfect tree.
What do you think about this particular tree with whatever health conditions you think it might have?
It's pretty maxed out. So to me, trees have a nice, good lifespan of development. They kind of plateau for a while and then start a decline. The decline can be long and slow, or it can be pretty rapid. The decline of this tree just sort of appears to be kind of a long and slow decline. It might still be pushing some foliage. I didn't really notice any new wood formation on the trunk. So I think the tree is just at its peak. And once we develop around trees, it's probably, as far as lifespan goes, it's there, it's maxed out. If it's 75 or 80, we've developed all around it. It's not gonna go another 20 years now.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? Mr. Weiss, no? Okay, all right, thank you. Oh, Miss, yes, please.
I'd just like to address the idea that we bought the house knowing that the tree was there. We bought it a year ago. We've lived a year in it now. We've been there through the storms, and we've heard, we've watched it and thought about it ourselves, and we've listened to the branches falling on our roof, and it's increased my anxiety. So, I've lived in this forest also for 37 years. And I've lived in the highlands where trees come down all the time and heard that horrific bam. And just the vision in my head of that coming down on me or my family is terrifying. So that's why we're here.
Can I ask you both one question also? Since the back house was newly developed, have you seen that it's caused any damage with the tree being so close to that structure? Have you seen any cracks, any foundational damage, anything?
No, but I know what a foundational damage looks like from a tree going over, because I have seen root balls down in our Highlands property, 8 to 10 feet. So I know what that is. I know what you're talking about.
I don't think we've seen anything.
I don't think we've seen anything particularly on this tree.
Okay.
But I've also had, trees that were green fall in the Highlands, and their root balls were 8 feet or 10 feet tall. So I know what that experience is, and I think that has. And then when we bought the house, I was reassured by the fact that we owned that house next door before they took those 2 trees down. And so I thought to myself, so there's a reasonable expectation that if we plead our case, we'll be heard. And so that's why I said, yeah, let's get this house. I love this house. I love being in downtown Carmel. And, anyway, just wanted to leave that part. Okay.
Thank you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd like to ask if anybody else in the audience would like to make any comments? Any public
Should we
comment?
do
or if we
discussion
have-
first?
Usually we're going to get all the information
yeah.
and then we can bring it back to,
And then, public comment?
the public comment. And then Yvette, do we have anybody online?
No one at this time.
Okay, all right, bring it back to the commissioners. Anybody?
Thank you for the information, and it's not lost on me, the health concern. I think we've talked about this a couple times. People love the Monterey pines, kind of writ large, but then individual trees, people are concerned and fearful, and I understand that. I also go back to following the municipal code, and that's what I'm supposed to do. And in this particular case, because it's not part of construction, we can take into account whether it's damaging a structure or not, and I don't see that. I would love to be able to have the discussion on maturity of trees, the significant trees, right? I would love to have a plan in place here for how we can address our mature forest going forward. I'd love for the Forest and Beach Commission to have the ability to rule on health and safety, which you can't right now. I will point out, and I don't think this is any hidden information, it is possible to appeal a Forest and Beach Commission. That's 1228-070. It can go to the City Council. I'm not sure if you were alluding to whether, if we make a decision here on what you wrote, it cannot be appealed.
No, I meant technically, you can't rule on removing a significant tree outside of construction. So what I meant to say is we're not that we can't appeal it, what we're really appealing is it significant or not?
Right.
And is it significant or not? And things could definitely get appealed to City Council. I've been on some jobs that have been Forest and Beach rules one way and then they get bumped up to City Council.
Right, and I was just pointing that out for public consumption too, because I think, I'm a big fan of following the process, and right now, whether we like it or not, we can't rule on health and safety, but City Council can, and I know that's a big discussion between Sarah and I, and that's fine, and this is part of the whole process, and I'm happy to have the discussion, and that's my comment right now.
Yeah, I've been on the Forest and Beach for 6 years, and we have always figured in, is there a fear element or a reasonable psychiatric problem with it. So there's one area of that you're using, Neal, that doesn't mention that, but in practice we have used it the 6 years I've been on it. So I think we still should be able to use it.
Well, and let me reiterate that also, in appealing the significance, you're appealing, there's part of a significance of a tree takes into account the risk to life and property.
I agree.
And that this preliminary site assessment was done by the previous forester in 2021 or 2022, I believe.
So Justin, can you clarify, because the action we're taking, because I'm confused, are we just gonna decide if we think the tree is significant or not? And if we decide that the tree is not significant, that puts us in a different category
Yes.
on the removal? Is
Yes.
that what you're suggesting? Okay, could you, I guess there's two things I think would be helpful clarification. One is just if you could walk us through that plain and simply, that would be super helpful.
Yeah, it just kind of, as these have been coming up, it's kind of looking at the code as Neal has done, Commissioner Rutta has done the last couple months, is the code says, unless the tree is for construction or related to construction, the only way a significant tree can be removed is if it's damaging a structure and cannot be easily fixed. But you can appeal the significance of a tree.
Okay, so
And-
if we determine, so just I'm following your logic here for just a minute. If there was a determination that this was not a significant tree, and it sounds like you're suggesting that health and safety risk can play a part in that assessment?
Yes.
Am I correct? Okay, so you can, the significant tree assessment that we have is from Sarah
Yes,
from many years ago.
yes.
So you're saying that you could do another, can you update that assessment?
No, I'm saying
Like-
you guys would decide that.
Okay, so let's assume that for whatever reason, we decided it was not a significant tree.
So it goes back to kind of why we're here.
Yeah.
Is the first question on the significant tree worksheet says, is this tree an above normal risk to life and property? And it says no right now. And if you say yes, then the tree loses significance and can be appealed and removed as normal.
Understood. Okay, so that the code you're saying ties specifically to the significant tree
Yes.
status. Okay, that's helpful perspective.
Can you
The second,
Can I ask you?
pull that up? Because
It's in the staff report.
can you pull it up?
Well, I mean,
For us?
Can I ask you just to clarify for all of us, what is a significant tree?
it's a native tree that scores above I believe it's in here. It's in the worksheet. So there's a worksheet that we fill out that was in the forest management plan. And the,
It's in here.
Yeah,
Sarah's-
I just want,
yeah,
Forget it.
if you can just, for everybody here, let
so
us,
it's hard to quantify. It's hard to explain is the hard part because it's a native tree that scores 6 or more points from these 4 categories. They were established when the local coastal program was developed in the early 2000s and the forest management plan. This was actually implemented by the Coastal Commission for the city to make it harder to remove trees during construction.
so who is the body who made this a significant tree?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Was it Sarah?
Yes.
Our former forester?
Former forester.
The forester.
Okay.
And that would have been in 2020, but it's in the packet.
She came in, what,
right?
21 or 2?
I saw her name, it's in the packet.
Yeah.
If we
But
scroll- if
I
you scroll-
would agree that it's significant. So that's.
You agree it is a significant
Yeah,
tree.
so you're not appealing necessarily the decision, it's more
Right.
of, is it significant?
A Monterey pine, is
That's a native?
that's a native
species?
species, okay, okay.
So, but go to the first question on the, if, can we see Sarah's evaluation, which is in the packet? If we pull that up, the
It's-
first page.
Attachment.
Would you like a vet to pull it up?
Yeah.
one or
So it's on- so it's on the screen.
Because I think the
Okay.
first question, I'm just out.
Okay.
Page 22. Yeah, it's. I believe it's attachment 2 or 3. Attachment 2.
It's after this arborist report,
There.
That- it
It's the
starts
one with
on
all
page
the
20.
boxes.
23.
There.
This one.
Okay.
And this was as of 2022? 2022
I
or
believe 2021 or 2022.
2021 or 2022, so this is 5 years ago,
Yes.
right? So, would it be useful for this to be, this is the city's view of the tree, would it be useful for this to be updated? Or
Yes.
Justin, do you feel like this is today, this is still how you would assess, would you still assess the tree like this today? Would this be your assessment of the tree today? It seems when we have a more mature tree, that having an updated
I still think
assessment.
I still think it would be significant.
So you've had an opportunity now to look at the second report done by Mr. Weisfist. Does anything about his new assessment, this new assessment that we have, does that change your mind in any way? Do you have any questions?
No, I think I kind of covered it in the staff report.
Okay.
I mean, there's some things, but I think that there is some new exposure to wind, but it is the kind of wind, the prevailing northwest wind, and I saw a lot of new growth in the tree, so I still think that it holds its significance.
Okay.
So that is a point of difference between the arborist report and your perspective, right? Because you today at the site, you said you saw new wood growth.
Yes.
You pointed out new wood growth, and you pointed out new canopy growth, both.
I don't know if I
Both-
did, but it's still
It's
green and healthy.
green and healthy, and that differs from what was presented here to us. So there is a difference in perspective around.
Yeah, and every arborist has a difference in perspective.
Okay.
Could you scroll, I guess, page 22 or where the staff analysis was again? Because I missed what you just said. where you say we're ruling on the significance or not.
Also, yeah, just stay on the page.
This page?
No, the next page, sorry. There. So it's number 1A.
Right. No, that's
So
not what I'm
that-
saying. I get that. So go to page,
Well, that's,
go to
that-
page 9.
that's, yeah,
And the
so
tree number that
that's
we're,
new, the whole, because I was thinking about how,
Well, again, so your staff analysis, the municipal code, staff does not believe the tree is damaging the structure. What you said about significance is different. I'm just kind of calling out, maybe for next time we get a little bit more clear.
well, yeah, it's kind of, as this is happening,
Yeah,
this hasn't really been done a lot, the appeals like this, because the significant trees are there's only specific ways to do it, so. And I don't, I'm new, haven't done these that much, this is the second one I've done, and I don't know if the way we've done it is proper, so now was trying to not just say that we can't hear this at all, because, everyone has a right to appeal any decision.
Right.
So I think that the right way to do it is to appeal the significance, and it kind of came up after the agenda was done. I was talking to the planners and kind of thinking about how everything works procedurally.
okay. Okay.
so I have another, Tamara, may I have another
Yes,
question for,
please.
this is more for Ken. And this relates to a conversation we had because these situations are really difficult, right? We've had situations where we've had people express similar health and safety concerns, but we've also seen the foundation of their home impacted. And in those cases, you can have a significant tree and the code specifically states if there's foundation impact, you can remove the tree, right? So in those cases, it makes it really easy. The challenge we have right now is that we're constrained by a code that says if it's a significant tree and there's no foundation impact, you can't remove it for a health and safety concern unless the tree would be considered a hazard. And where the tree gets considered a hazard, no, if you go to your analysis of the significant tree, if it poses a significant health and safety risk, and the answer to that question is yes, then it doesn't become a significant tree. It is therefore not subjected to the code, right? And it can therefore be removed. And so the only way in your case to have a tree removed is this is what the code, we're being advised from the city relative to the code. And it's tricky because this is a very difficult area for us because there's nobody on this commission that wants people to feel health and safety risk about the trees in their home or their property, right? But Ken, we had a very insightful conversation about this where you were describing the difference between a tree being hazardous and a potential hazard. And if you could maybe speak to that a little bit, that was really helpful for me to hear that from you because it implies you may have to monitor a tree to see when that changes. But
Sure.
I'm just curious, if you could speak to that for a minute, because I think if you had a hazardous tree, it wouldn't be deemed significant. It would by default
Right,
not be considered significant.
correct. That's what you guys are
Yes, so if you could.
discussing. Yeah.
And so the question, we're on that line, right? And so I think that if you could just talk about hazard versus potential hazard, that might be helpful for people to hear.
So one of the things that, and just try to summarize and try to remember all that I said to you, but every tree is a potential risk, right? Any and every tree can be a potential risk. Even a healthy tree can be a potential risk. It's when it's deemed is a risk when you do monitoring and assessment of the tree. So somebody coming to you and there's, as Justin alludes to, if it's a healthy tree, it's not a risk it's not a risk. You can say it's a potential risk in the future maybe, but it's not a risk right now. And that's when you have that ongoing review, the requirement of the owner to have that tree pruned, cared for, and assessed on a regular basis to when it becomes a potential, or when it becomes an actual hazard, then you can have that
take that next step?
First of all, this is a change from what we've been doing, and maybe it's the way it's written up, but it's not the way we've used it all along. The other thing is, it isn't totally factual when a tree is going to fall over, or when branches fall off that are significant and could really hurt someone. We've had 2 trees on Dolores. One was a cypress that just before Thanksgiving fell over and took out the dining room, which was kind of significant for Thanksgiving. And the other one, which both Sarah Davis and Justin felt was probably safe enough, it was a Monterey pine, but it had dropped a huge limb that was easily a foot in diameter, shook the whole area. Fortunately, no one was under it. It would have crushed a car or anything. And the branch that went off to the side dropped another branch, and you, Justin, said, well, we'll trim it a little bit more. It fell, and it fell with no wind whatsoever. Carmel finally came the next morning and took down the whole tree. But the guy had been working on his house right where it fell. Yep. He was about 1 minute from being under it, and it would have been significant. You keep saying it was just a branch, but it was a big branch, and it would have really been bad. So you're treating it like this is a scientific fact, and trees don't behave that way. They somehow make their own decision. I'm not quite sure of the process, but anyway, I think we're depending too much on saying scientifically this tree. I mean, one thing, would any of us be anxious with that tree leaning over our house the way it does? I would certainly be anxious.
And this is what's really tricky, and I think that Commissioner Brezoczky, I'm just going to take a moment and read the actual code, just so we can hear what the actual code is. It's section 17.48.070. Findings required for significant trees establishes 2 distinct pathways for removal of significant trees. A, not related to construction. Removal of significant trees not related to construction or development is prohibited unless the commission can make the following finding: that the tree is causing substantial damage to a building that cannot readily be repaired or alleviated on a long-term basis through minor reasonable building modifications. B, related to construction. Removal of a significant tree to facilitate construction or development is prohibited unless one of the following findings can be made. 1, that removal of the tree is required to protect public health or safety. 2, the 4 additional conditions outlined in the ordinance are satisfied, which are.
But this is an or, did you say?
This is our Carmel Municipal Code with respect to
those
this.
are 2 different factors. The first one you read.
But it's not
says or.
construction, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right, this isn't a construction case.
So it's not
Yeah.
a constructing, so I just wanted to, so there's 4 additional points. So in essence, you're requesting health and safety. According to our municipal code, we're only allowed to make a ruling on health and safety if it's related to construction. If it is not related to construction, it is if the tree is causing substantial damage to a building that cannot readily be repaired or alleviated on a long-term basis. So that's the struggle that we're having, and we're assessing its significance. So I just want you to have an understanding. I almost wish, and I'd like to go and just say this for the record, that I'd like to see this information on the appeal, so that when people do appeal to our commission, that they actually know the section codes that are relevant, and you can check, A, B, or other, so people are aware when they come in to this what we're working with.
That needs to be changed.
So that is, therein lies our
Back to the way
question.
we've been using it for years.
So
Can
we're
I
gonna
ask Justin a question?
carry on, yeah.
Slightly unrelated, but this gets back to this whole thing about a significant tree or not, which I'm just interested in this case as an example, that you guys did a level 1, and I think that's a pretty standard.
Well, it's just we're not looking at at it for like a report. What it is we go to a site prior to development, like Chair Mickey's, we did one for her recently. We look at all the trees and we assess everything from what we see. And we come up with the significance in terms of this is really, it's not meant to be an arborist report. It's meant to be a tool for the architect to design around the trees. This is a preliminary site assessment for development.
But if someone came to you and said, I want to take out my tree, like the last one, you would go and do an inspection.
Yeah.
And that's basically the same inspection that we're seeing here?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
So I guess my question is, so you guys do that, and in this case, it's almost 5 years old, right? And the owners appeal and come back and have another arborist report that basically, in this case, is both a level 2 and a level 3 report that says, well, it really is not, not significant, right?
And
So I guess my question is, why doesn't the city then go back and do a level 3 on that same tree just to validate one way or another? Because I feel like in both of these discussions, we end up talking like we're talking about different trees. You know, you get your opinion and it's like you see the new growth and it's all this. And I read his opinion and this thing's, not healthy and a problem. What stops the city from coming back and validating whether their level 3 really does represent the true health of the tree, especially when it's 5 years old? Our report's 5 years old, excuse me. I'm just interested to know what would stop the city from.
nothing would stop. I mean,
I think it's a really, I would echo that.
It's a good point.
I actually believe that the report that Sarah has here is incorrect. Because she's given 7 points to this Monterey pine. And if I look at one of the assessments, one of the questions to the point tally is, what is the age and vigor of the tree? And she's given it a 2, which says the tree is young to middle age and shows normal vigor. And we've all agreed that this tree is mature or over mature. And so she gave 2 points to the tree being young, when you could argue that there should either, if it was 0 points because it was later stage, it would take it from a 7 to a 5, which would make this a non-significant.
anything with a 0 is automatically not significant.
Okay, but I'm just saying, if it went from, if you just rescaled this one question, it would either go from 7 points to 6, which would be right on the line, or 7 to 0. And it's possible, from what I've heard about the age of the tree, that it would be 0 or 1 point, not 2. So I actually think it would be really useful to do, for the city, for us to redo the city's significant assessment of the tree. And at the risk of bringing this back again, I just feel like I would concur that the.
So if we're looking at the.
Yvette, I'm sorry, can you bring it to that page that we're talking about so that the rest of the people in the,
22,
thank you.
I think. Yeah, 20, next one.
Next one down.
It's the next attachment, yeah.
Yeah.
It starts right here.
There you go. Okay,
And the
thank
tree
you.
we're talking
Thank
about
you.
is tree number 3. So you have to go down the
One more.
page, looking at
One
the
more.
responses to item tree number 3. So I'm not sure all of them are
What's the next
current.
page?
So my comment there, so if we're looking at, and this is just confirming what Commissioner Brezoczky said, if you're asking us to evaluate the significance of the tree as opposed to not, then we need an up-to-date evaluation from you, not something that's.
But I'm asking you guys, what do you think to the significance of the tree?
Well, I think I'm gonna lean on my forester first to get some
Well, then,
technical evaluation.
Gave it to you. I mean, I think that we need to make a decision, and if we're appealing the significance, what did you see on the site, and what do you think is it relates to these categories. I feel like, I don't think it helps us to keep pushing it out. I think, as I said, I believe the tree's healthy.
So you support what the evaluation was from a couple years ago is what you're
I mean,
saying?
I think it keeps its significance.
Okay.
So so let me just be clear. If we would determine that this was not a significant tree,
Then it could be
we could
removed.
authorize the removal for health and safety risk, which is
Yes.
consistent with what we have done with some other trees.
Yes,
And that have been deemed non-significant.
Yeah.
The issue I really appreciate you raising this early on. The issue here is this a significant tree or not?
and because we are already here at the point of, the appeal, I'm bringing this up because, really, technically, the appeal window's 10 days, so really the appeal would be after the PSA. But now that we're here, I feel like the only way we can get around the significant issue in the 17.48.070 is not whether the tree is dangerous, because that's not something you can take it out with as a significant tree, it's whether the tree is significant or not.
Well, it's
But that's part of,
it's concerning to me that we want to use a 5-year-old report where we have what I would consider a pretty egregious error
well, then
that's
that's up
worth
to,
2 points on the scale.
What do you guys
right?
think?
That to me seems problematic with the report
So-
we're being used to
So
reference.
could one of the things we recommend, instead of yes or no, is that another assessment be done?
Or that we can view it and take it as a different assessment. We can decide in this
Yeah,
body if it's not a significant
Yeah,
tree.
I
So
would
I think
ask-
we can do that right here.
I would ask the commission
today.
to make the decision whether it's significant or not.
Yeah.
So
So I think-
procedurally, I guess my question would be then, so let's say we decide that it's not significant. Does that automatically mean that it's a health and safety issue and it should be taken down, or we then have to vote on that?
I would say it would be two motions. It would be not significant, approve the appeal.
So if everybody is ready to start to discuss this, can I go around and ask what people think about its significance before we actually take a vote, just to see where everybody is right now? Maybe we can start with you, Harry.
Again, I feel like this is, after just reading this, and as Kelly pointed out, if you take that one factor out, it would probably significantly change whether it's a significant tree or not. And that one's pretty obvious.
I think there's others on here too. So if we went question by question, I think the basis for it being a significant tree, to me, feels compromised by a 5-year-old report with old data.
And a different forester.
That does not reflect the current condition of the tree. Because the other question, so one was the age is clearly incorrect.
Right.
The other one that you could debate is what is the health and condition of the tree? And here it was given 2 points, healthy and in good condition. And the 1 point response is the tree shows some pests or disease that impair its condition, but which does not immediately threaten the health of the tree. The tree may recover on its own or with appropriate intervention.
It feels
so
like
that's
more
another
like a
one where
one.
you could easily remove
Take a
a
point away.
So we go from, now we've gone from 7 to
potentially
4, or 7
to
to
5.
5, right? So I feel like we're below the significant threshold using data. And to me, which feels like a strong basis to recommend that this is not, should not be considered a significant tree for the purposes
Okay.
of this.
And Sarah,
body.
I think I know your answer, but for the record. Okay. You would agree, okay.
I
And
know, well,
Neal?
Well, I would question whether I should be responsible for evaluating the significant or not of a tree. I want our forester to weigh in first, and I agree with what Kelly said. If we have the old data and we're being asked to evaluate the significance or not, I first want to see an updated report. So that's my
Okay,
opinion.
so that's where you are. Okay, and Harry?
Well, and I think it is a little bit supported by their arborist report, so it's not, and I realize that that's maybe not the only data point we would use, but when we've got a 5-year-old report and a level 3 report that says one thing, it feels like the right thing to do would be to do another assessment on the tree and come up with that.
For who to do another assessment?
city.
For the city to do
Yeah.
another assessment?
Yeah.
This, I think Justin is.
Part of your
yeah.
responsibilities are to weigh in on significance. I would send it to you, because we're here, I just
Right.
want, we already continued it. I
Yep.
feel like,
Yep. I don't think and that's another expense. That's not something that happens with the appeal to the Forest and Beach, so that's another, he doesn't do, that sort of an inspection on it as part of the appeal to the Forest and Beach.
No, I guess my question, and it was my question originally, is what's the tripwire then on a 5-year-old report, and we get an arborist report that says something very different? What's
I
the
think we-
tripwire that triggers another action on your part to reevaluate this? Or is there not, and you're just, that's what I don't get.
well, we have an appeal, and we can just go back to, can you go up to the first page again?
But Justin, okay, I'd just like to ask on this report that we have that's 5 years old, on number F, or letter F, what is the age and the vigor of the tree? What would your response today be to this question?
1.
A 1, okay? And what if you go to, so, I mean, I think that's what we're asking for is.
So that's 1 point less than,
1 point
Yeah.
less,
Okay.
okay? And so if you went to the other one, what is the health and condition of the tree?
can you go up a little?
If you go to D, which it's letter D, I'm sorry, what is the health and condition of the tree? What would you rate here?
I'd still say it's 2. It's pretty
Okay.
healthy.
So
I saw wood growth and it's still green.
So you didn't see pest or disease, that you don't see anything that would impair its condition that doesn't immediately threaten it? Which was in
I
the
didn't-
reports, right?
I didn't see a lot of beetles or.
What about the woodpeckers? Does that,
What?
with the woodpeckers, does that cause
Nah.
any?
I think they just looked, it had a lot of new growth in the trunk. I'd say that's a 2.
So I don't know, Tamara, I'm gonna turn this back to you. We could either go letter by letter and get
Yeah.
a number, but I just feel like this
Right.
feels
I
to
think,
me
I
that
think
we're.
what I'm hearing right now is I'm hearing you're comfortable with changing it to a tree that is
It's part of
not,
your duty,
significant tree.
responsibilities to do
What
it.
I wish we had an updated report.
Yeah,
That, well, if we had an updated report that had a score of 5, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. We'd be having a conversation about a removal with a health and safety risk, right? So it's it would be, I think in the future, when we have tree assessments that are several years old,
Yeah.
particularly with mature trees,
Right.
it would be best practices to come in with a fresh, our city forester, just assessment on significance would be useful to us. But I'm hearing that we're being asked to make a decision today, and I'm feeling comfortable with
Making-
what's on this report.
Okay.
And the level 3 reports we've been presented.
so you're comfortable with considering moving its significance to a non-significant tree? I know you're comfortable with that. Harry?
Yes,
You,
I'm
you,
comfortable.
You're comfortable, okay. So that is 3 of us. And you're not comfortable with this?
comfortable, I prefer to have an updated report.
Which I don't think, is that something, Justin, I just want to ask, just for sake of, it's been put out there.
I think that, I've heard from everybody, it sounds like we should just I think we should just move along and make a motion and we'll see.
Make a motion on its significance?
Well, it's 4 of us anyway.
You can go back to the first question, is it hazardous? So that brings us back to where we started. So you can
Right.
think of it like that.
Okay.
I
I think we're
have
probably,
2
yeah.
suggestions. Either we take it as 4, a majority, or we ask, I didn't get your name,
Albert,
Mr. Weisfuss, yeah.
Mr. Weisfuss?
to come and give his opinion also.
I think, does anyone, I don't know if anyone has any question. I think that there's probably, with regard to significance, it sounds like
Okay.
we probably can at least make a motion if somebody would like to make a motion.
So I do want to clarify something, and I think you, maybe from you.
For me?
So if we say it is not significant,
We've already
Yes.
said it is.
what's that?
If it's not significant.
Not
I thought we
significant.
just said that 4 of us believe it is.
Yeah, so if, no.
I'm
if it's-
asking, if we
it's-
vote and
if
say
it's significant,
not
yeah.
significant, what's the next step? Does it automatically then say the tree should come out?
Then we
Then you can
can
make
take
an-
another, yeah, we can take a vote if we feel that the health and safety, we can then assess it for its health and safety.
Okay,
If it's not significant.
okay.
So it's two parts. And this is one of those ones I'll just share my feelings about it. I think that the tree is very much, with its age and its overall health, I think that it's right on the fence of its lifespan. I actually did ask a lifespan question to our forester as well, and I think he felt as though it was maybe 10 years. So not a long lifespan, and that its health is in question. So that's sort of where I am with it. I think we need to take a look at where its significance is first, and so I'd like to go ahead and have a motion made for that, and then we can take a look at the rest of it, because that's part of the deciding factor at this point. So if someone wants to make a motion first about its significance.
I'll make a motion to determine the significance of the tree based on the report. Is that what we're asking? So I'll
It
make
would
that
be
motion.
a yes or no. So
Right.
you make a motion to say that it is or is not.
I'll make the motion if the tree is significant or not.
Is not.
No, we need to say,
It's not significant.
then you
Okay,
make a
got it.
motion, the tree is not significant.
Got it.
Okay, someone want to second that?
I'll second that motion
I just
based on
seconded
an inaccuracy in the report from 2021.
Thank you. Okay, Yvette, could you do a roll call?
Commissioner Berling,
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Brezoczky,
Yes.
Commissioner Ross,
Yes.
Commissioner Rutta,
No.
Chair Michie.
Yes.
Thank you, this motion is passed.
Okay.
So then there's the second motion, where now we need to rule on the application.
And I'd like to quickly talk about the fact, because I believe that this property has 2 oak trees in addition to the one Monterey pine.
Yes, there's 2 oak trees in the front and the one in the back.
Okay. Which the Monterey pine, just for those who don't know, is really split between your property and the neighbors. I would almost say more of that tree is on the neighbor's side of the fence, but leans over your property.
Yeah, the actual base though is also on our property.
Okay,
But I would
right.
say maybe it's 1/3 and 2/3 or
Okay.
2/5 and 3/5.
Okay.
But it's not like the entire base is on the neighbor and the lean is over our property.
If
We
you-
actually have
Right.
essence of the.
It is your tree, but I'm just saying, just for sake of, for those who didn't get an opportunity to see it, it is on the fence line.
Yeah, oh, yes, absolutely.
If you look
And
at,
into the front.
if you look at the site, the map on the PSA,
Right.
the fence isn't on the property line because of the tree. So the tree is actually almost wholly on their property. I would say
Oh, okay,
80 to 90%, judging
Okay.
by the survey.
okay.
The neighbors.
Okay. So they have 2 oak trees and 1 Monterey pine. Do we want to look at if we're discussing taking this tree down? Pardon me?
We added 2 deodars in the back of the construction. Could I take a copy of who built their house? We didn't add them, but there are 2 deodars in the back.
Okay.
Two.
2 different, okay. That doesn't really, two different trees, 2 insignificant trees is, I can't.
Yeah,
Are you hearing this, Justin?
I heard it.
2
I
other trees?
didn't see him, but
I didn't see them.
The recommendation was if it's approved for removal, to plant 2 upper canopy trees.
So 2 upper canopy trees.
And that's unreasonable to have 1 become 2. That's the old deal, what we're beginning to try to change from having 4 and 1, because there really isn't that room for fire danger and all those things.
Some of the things we've been talking about, and Commissioner Rutta had brought that up a couple of months ago, was that if we feel as though there's not space on a piece of property, you could look at doing maybe 1 on the property to replace the aging tree, and 1 in the city.
Or an in lieu fee.
Or, pardon me?
An in lieu fee.
Or an in lieu fee.
What? I didn't hear you said.
An in lieu fee?
An in lieu fee, pay an in lieu fee instead of, so maybe now that we've made that first determination, we talk a little bit more about now the health of the tree and any other requirements we may have depending on that. If anybody would like to start, Kelly, maybe you'd like to start?
Sure, Justin, I just want to make sure I understood. Your recommendation would be if the tree is for removal, the replanting is
It was 2 uppers.
Upper.
2 uppers on that property, or just 2 uppers?
It was on the property because that's what it is, but I mean, it could be or on
Mike? Okay. Kelly?
Quick, keep the.
I'm just
noise down
curious,
and- It was 2 upper canopy trees, but you could.
is there,
But that's a recommendation, that's not.
That's my recommendation, so you could decide less, more, or in lieu fee, or in the right of way, whatever.
okay, and your recommendation for 2 upper canopies is that have you identified 2 places where it would be the right, like an upper canopy tree would be the right tree in the right place on that lot? Have you identified 2 spaces where that's, where your recommendation is possible?
There's probably 1 in the front, and then maybe would probably have to do an in lieu fee or in the right of way for the other one.
So you're willing to have 1 upper canopy tree on the property and 1 someplace else?
Yes.
I would, just personally, I would like to see us advocate for more tree planting as opposed to in lieu fees, right? Like if we.
In the city.
In a planting in the city.
Yeah, right across the street in the medians.
More planting in the city. I'm sorry, yes, Mr. Weisfuss?
is for planting more trees.
Right.
It's just like within.
It's a fee that we would, exactly.
I think it's better to have that money to have the city pay for the watering and the trees instead of putting it on the resident.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's a helpful clarification, thank you.
Do you want to make him, we're not ready for motion, maybe?
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say?
I think what are we looking
So I
at
do,
is-
and this is where I struggle, so excuse me. Based on what I saw in Justin's, what he's telling us, I'm not sure the tree should come down right now. It seems like it does have, it's not an imminent danger. The lean is not getting worse. Some of the things you've called out, it seems like it's on the verge, and some of the things I think I've read in your report that talk about the potential for weakening the tree are there. But as I read it, it didn't really say that it was weakening, it has weakened the tree. It talks about there's a huge potential, based on a lot of this stuff, to weaken the tree. So I guess I'm not convinced yet of part 2, honestly. That it should, that it has to come down, that it's an imminent danger. And I would love to hear everybody else's kind of opinion about that.
My opinion is that it should come down now, because we have no idea when it's really going to come down. And
Well, we don't have any idea when the
May I
tree's gonna
finish?
come down.
May I finish? So we don't know when it's going to come down, but it come down. Frankly, I was really influenced by these 2 trees on Dolores right by my street, that they came down without wind. One had been deemed okay and wasn't dangerous, and it was very dangerous. If it had hit this man, the city'd be dealing with a whole big of issue. So I don't think we know when trees are going to come down. I have to say that if I were living in that house with the lien that it has over the house, I would be very worried. So putting in 2 new Monterey pines or local trees is reasonable. There's a whole bunch you've put downtown and in different places, and that's great. We need the young ones. This wasn't a particularly attractive pine. It's not like it was a really outstanding pine, to whichever, 1 or 2, whatever you're doing. So to me, I wouldn't want to live under it. I don't think I have the right to say they have to maintain it and live in it, live under it. And we can make a change and have 2 younger trees someplace else, or there, whatever.
Neal?
No comment.
No comment on this? Okay. Okay, so we've got, yep.
I'll
Hallie?
just say, I think Harry, I share your concern. To me, the significant, non-significant was the easy part of this, particularly with an error in the previous assessment. And I would say it's a pretty significant error on the age of the tree. And while I, from a health and safety perspective, this one doesn't feel as clear-cut to me as the ones where we've made the decision on safety previously, simply because we've applied the other standard, like is the foundation cracking, is it affecting the house, et cetera, which this is not yet. But I really feel like this is important for our city, that one of the things we've learned through the whole master plan exercise is that the maturity of our Monterey pine forest is mature. Most of our trees are very mature and in the last 10% of their life. And the sooner we can be proactively taking steps to rejuvenate our Monterey pine forest, the better off we will be. The more trees we're going to have for the people that come after us.
Right.
And so when 1 comes down and we have a requirement that 2 or maybe 3 go up, right? That's helping our city. And so we are going to have a natural, we're going to be going through a natural process over the next 10 years where we're going to see more of these, not less of these, right? Because we've got older trees.
Right.
Either the city's going to have to, maybe the city prunes them for a few years and eventually takes them down. But the thing we've learned is that if we don't deal with these older trees before they're maybe an imminent hazard, which is hard to determine, we're not going to be replanting at the rate that we should be to maintain the forest. And so when someone comes with a safety concern, I don't want to sleep in that room. I mean, there's a bedroom. I noticed it might be a guest bedroom, but there's.
That's the bedroom.
Okay, that's your bedroom. Okay,
The other bedroom is right in the same.
Okay, but I'm just, when, we've had some situations where if the tree was 15 or 20 years old and in the early part of its life, I think I would have a very different opinion right now. But the fact that it is a very mature tree, that your best estimates are that this is roughly 80 years old and may have 10 years left, that says to me it has less than 10% of its life left. And the cost, the benefit of asking them to prune the tree for the next 5 years only to come back and have this same conversation year after year at the risk, at someone living with the anxiety of fear in their home, to me that doesn't, I think beginning to repopulate our Monterey pine forests, and I would like to see us do 3 trees, and only if 1 can go in the property, I think that's fine, but I'd like to see 2 go into the city, because I think we've heard from some of our ecological experts that Monterey pines do better when they're
Right.
in
Planted
pairs,
in pairs.
as opposed to just sticking a Monterey pine in the ground, correct? Right, so 2 in the city together someplace and 1 on the property, to me, feels like a.
Do you have
a
any
better
idea
way.
of where the one on the property would be?
On the property?
Yeah. Do
I
you have
don't
any
know,
idea?
I would have to defer to.
That's up to the
Okay.
resident.
Pardon me?
That's up to the resident.
Okay.
But would,
Okay.
but do you feel comfortable there's space for another oak tree or another pine tree on their property if?
I think there's space for at least 1 more tree. I didn't see the ones in the back, but I have to take a look, but I think there is.
Folks.
I'm sorry.
Just to clarify that, we discovered 2 young trees that were planted in the back corners of the property, and we were told by the contractor that those were some kind of gesture that was made. I don't know if it was in the permitting process for the building of the house. So those would be 2 ideal places for new trees. But there are new trees there already.
What kind of tree is planted in the back? I didn't see
I'm
them.
not sure what they are.
Deodar cedars, which
Okay,
you could call an upper canopy tree.
okay.
There's one on
How do
each
we,
corner, and I can tell you the property is not really, there's not really room for another
Yeah.
big upper canopy tree. It's pretty tight.
how do we view those trees? Those are other trees in our, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're upper
Just-
canopy though. I think they're actually in on the list.
They're on, okay.
So, I mean, then we could do all in lieu fee. That
Okay.
would meet density.
All in Luffy, okay. So on your list then, they weren't noted on the list of the trees.
No, because that was preliminary. The PSA
Okay.
is done before construction. This is after construction.
Okay. So they do have 3 upper canopies according to, with the other 2 young ones, 3 upper canopies, and they have 2
It would be
lower.
2 and 2, because, well, the
One,
one is
if
the
we were
pine.
to remove the one, but as of right now, they have 3 upper canopies and 2 lower canopies. So they have
Yes.
2, okay,
Yeah.
new plantings, okay.
I would just want to comment on your, you made a motion.
No, I didn't make a
Oh,
motion.
you're just making a suggestion. I would be against 3. We've never required people to do more than 2, and I think that's adequate. The city produces trees also, so I think that is punitive rather than constructive.
I think that was before Commissioner Brezoczky knew there were already 2 upper canopies that were newly planted back there. It was probably to try to bring them to where they should be, and then any additional put into the city. But now we know there's 2 in the back of the property. Harry, do you have any more questions or anything that you would?
No.
Okay. All right, if we're ready to make a motion one way or the other. Is anybody ready to do that? Kelly or Sarah?
Do you want it, Kelly?
Still considering?
You said to put 2, 2.
2 in the
is what we-
city.
Okay.
The recommendation was for 2 trees, so.
Two more trees, okay.
So for clarification, in lieu fee versus planting new trees, what's the difference?
The in lieu fee is if you're gonna plant a tree in the city. If you're gonna plant a tree on the property, you plant the tree. But if there's gonna be a tree planted somewhere in the city, it would be through the action of an in lieu fee.
Okay.
And just to clarify, so we're saying that if this Monterey pine comes down, there will still be 4
Trees on
four
site,
trees on the property.
on a 4,000
Which-
square foot lot.
On a
yes.
4,000 square foot lot, which meets the present
Recommended
recommendation,
density,
not code. And of those 4 trees, 4 of them would be,
2 are uppers
2
and
upper,
2
2
are
lower.
lowers.
but the oaks are being counted as lowers right now.
Right now.
Present, for now, but
We
we,
need to change that.
but that's a, okay,
Yeah,
okay, so it meets the.
it meets.
Okay, so I will make a motion to approve the removal of the single Monterey pine that's leaning over the structure, with a requirement that 2 upper canopy trees be planted in its place.
In lieu.
As a replacement for the removal of this
Within the-
tree.
within the
And that
city.
they be planted within the city.
I second it.
whenever you're ready, Yvette. If you got that. Can I ask
Commissioner Berling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brezoczky,
Yes.
Commissioner Ross,
No.
Commissioner Rutta,
No.
Chair Michie,
Yes.
the motion is passed.
Good.
Okay. So the tree can be removed, and there will be 2 in lieu fees, not requiring you to plant on your property since you already have 2 upper canopies.
We're happy to give more.
Okay. We might take you up on that.
All right, the office will reach out to you guys.
Okay. Thank you both. I know that was a long time, but thank you very much for your input and your patience as we went through the process.
Thank you
All three of
for
you.
displaying this magnificent process for us.
You're very welcome.
It's wonderful.
Thank you. Okay,
Thanks.
I think we're ready to move on to the next. Everybody have a drink of water.
I have
I had to
one
get-
comment for process-wise as we work on the, I don't know if this is a master plan or a separate policy. I don't know if it goes into the master plan or if it's something we can address sooner, but or Ken, whether
Thank you.
this is an implementation item for you. But I want to come back to the notion of our mature pine forest and the replenishment of that forest and what that's going to require. And what I'm wondering is if we could have some kind of program that as we retire some of our oldest trees, we'll probably see the health and safety ones come first, likely, but as we retire some of those and then we move into this replanting, how do we make sure that works? So it may not be as simple as an in lieu fee in the future. Maybe we assess, what is the cost of the in lieu fee plus the care of the tree for the first couple of years? I don't know, Justin, I'm just brainstorming here, but what I want to make sure of is that when a tree comes down that we're retiring,
Yeah.
that we have a successful
Yeah.
replanting
Yeah,
program.
and I think we're getting, not to start another discussion that's not on there. So that should definitely come up, and we'll make that as a,
It's just for something for the future.
yeah, exactly.
It would be-
I'll actually
I
put
think-
that on future agenda
Okay.
items. I'll put that
Okay.
on. It's a good time to mention that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We'll go ahead and move on to orders of business. We have the March 2026 Foresters report from Justin.
Can I ask you as a favor, can I run to the bathroom and can Ken
Yeah,
do his
Ken,
report?
can we switch the?
Is that in the
Okay.
minutes?
We're gonna move to the director's report from Director Wasaki.
Thanks, everybody. First, I'll just run through this. At a high level, the department continues to balance our ongoing operations with a lot of our active capital program. We've gotten quite a bit of our projects done so far. It is posted online on our tracking on what we've completed. We're still working to fill the one project manager position. Wasn't successful before, and now we're gonna go out again. It's tough to try to fill that role. But we definitely need it in order to deliver on the expanding number of projects that we have. And additionally, we also have the empty permit tech, even though Archana is filling in that role, the permit tech and also the maintenance worker, which is the Vice Renee's position that's vacant right now. And I'm working with HR on trying to get those out and posted. In parallel, the staff has completed a proposed 5-year capital improvement plan. If you guys have been watching the council, the past several long council meetings, it looks like they have a recommendation. We gave them on our last council meeting, for those who didn't watch it, 3 proposals for capital improvement. And the difference between the 3 capital improvement plans, 5-year plans, were the street pavement section. It started out with just, this is what we can do based on our capacity, current capacity. The second and third option is accelerating the pavement condition index. All those streets that have are rated 50 and below on a PCI, pavement condition index, to bring them all above 50. 50 is a good average score, which would have raised our overall score to an 80 for pavement condition index. But one was to do it in 5 years and maintain above 50, so nothing will be up below. And the other one is to do that same thing in 10 years. And council really focused in and honed in on the 10-year program because what was different between option 1 and option 10, or option 3, was that we have also that ongoing maintenance to keep things above the score of 50. Let's see what else I have here. The environmental programs, we're continuing progress on our North Dunes restoration effort. I know that the folks, we've found some money so that we can do some work and get the ice plant removals started. Additionally, we're working to advance the advancement of the coastal development permit renewal, which will be coming to this commission in June. We are finalizing the Carmel Beach sea level rise adaptation pathway report with our consultants, incorporating all the feedback that you all provided from both planning and Forest and Beach Commission. On a regulatory side, we just received our results from the State Water Board audit. They have some suggestions and some thoughts. They call it a notice of compliance, but it's not bad. The title was shocking at first, but when I read through it, it's like, oh, this is simple. And they also let us know that we're doing for all the cities in the area, we're doing a really great job. So Carmel is really doing a great job on their water. Also, we're preparing on our upcoming Cal Recycle inspection that's happening. Encouragingly, there was a survey that went out. I'm not sure if some of you have taken that survey, but the majority of the customers in the community felt that the waste services, they were satisfied with their current waste services. On our facilities section, we've completed our janitorial RFP, and we're going to be bringing that to the council in May. We also made some targeted improvements. We've did some HVAC installations at key facilities. All these city facilities don't have HVAC, air conditioning, and so we have these portable units that we put in all our facilities. It got really bad. Our Vista Lobos was really, really bad that I had to just send the staff home because it was just unbearable and inhumane, if you ask me. We did that. We did finish the Sunset Center painting. Also, there was a couple of elevator power units that needed to be done that we finished, and also the Forest Theater stage. We repaired that, and as all you remember from last report, we did finish our fire station interior work. The street crews have been going around and doing some maintenance work, routine throughout the city, erosion repairs, guardrail reconstruction, some signage improvements. If you see some of the street signs, they're repainted and freshened up, and localized paving and berm work. So for all the drainage issues. So as we identify, we're trying to improve those roadway conditions. From a capital project perspective, our shoreline work still remains a priority. The beach stairs, we have a full design ready, stamped, and we also have a permit ready from our group here next door, and we're bringing this to a contractor to help with our bid package. So I'm hoping this will go out to bid really, really quick, days from now. And this contractor we're going to also bring on is not only going to help us with our bid package processing, but also do project management and construction management. So we just right away get the bids out and start the work on building those stairs. Both the 10th and 12th Street, both those stairs. You've probably seen we've been doing some geotechnical work. I mentioned this in past, but we were bringing a contractor on to find out, locations of bedrock, because all that work we're gonna be doing to maintain our shoreline, from erosion to the sand ramp work to the Fourth Avenue outfall. We need to do some geotechnical studies, and there's these guys come with this big old tractor, not too big, and they start pounding in these assessing where the bedrock is, so we know where we put our future work and designing of our beach area. Also, could you pull up that one picture? You'll probably see this if you're walking along the shoreline. You'll see 3 of these out there, and you're probably gonna wonder, what are those things? And anybody who's lived in the snow understands. It's similar to our sand. So this is for our measurements, to keep track as we look at, doing work and restoration and pushing sand. This will help us keep assessment of how our sand measurements along the shoreline. So you see these orange poles, that's what those are, if anybody asks you. We've been doing our conglomerate paving project. We're almost done with a lot of that paving project that we initially kicked off here. Great work. Shari Carlette, our project manager, has been doing an outstanding work managing that, as well as being on top. There's all this other street work being done. Cal-Am and COD has been doing a lot of work, and I know it's been frustrating quite a few of the residents, and we've been contacting them, trying to work closely with Cal-Am and COD about their aggressive notifications, being proactive, enhancing how they respond to customers, because these aren't our projects, but we are getting a lot of calls about them. And then from that, it takes myself and Shari to backtrack what it is, where they're at and what's going on, and getting a hold of COD or Cal-Am to address. And COD's been pretty good at following up with folks, and Cal-Am, we're working that relationship as well. But overall, the department's, is making steady progress across our operations, our environmental, and our capital delivery, while continuing to maintain with our resource limitations. So that concludes my report. Any questions?
I do.
Your road work has been great, and along Santa Lucia, it's really made it nice. But what's really good is between Franciscan Way and Dolores, there's actually a path through part of the woods.
Yes.
And they cleaned that out. I used to cut it once in a while, and I hadn't done it for a while.
Outstanding.
It's really a neat little path.
Outstanding.
Can I ask you a question about the work being done on scenic? When Cal-Am and or COD are finished,
Yeah.
are we repaving that?
You don't like the bumps. It slows cars down. No, we are, with, COD is gonna be repaving that. They're
Okay.
gonna be doing that, in May
Okay.
timeframe, yeah.
Okay.
May, June
Will they
timeframe.
be going
yeah.
all along scenic?
All
Tell
along
me,
where they've been
from
doing the
Ocean?
work. From,
Because there's, even Ocean's got even from Ocean to 8th, there's a lot of,
yeah, wherever
issues.
they're doing a
So,
lot of the
okay.
work. Anywhere they were cutting up, they're
they're gonna redo.
resurfacing that
Okay.
as well.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
really good to know. And I just have one other question. I know last month, I believe it was last month, we talked about the sand when we had Rob come in and
Yes.
present to us. And he was talking about what they used to do in the past, pushing the sand
Yes,
further in
Exactly.
to sort of protect it. I see now we're gauging where our sand is.
Yes.
Have we begun that process? He said this would be about the timeframe, or
yeah, he's
are we
waiting
gonna
for
be
more
the-
sand to be more on the beach in order to be
Okay.
more impactful. It's not high enough for the sand, but it should be coming soon when he can start moving that
It's
up.
almost like we're saving it. I mean, I want to say it's like what a woodpecker does, but we're storing it. We're getting it out of the way, right? And allows more, so before it can be washed back. I mean,
Before it gets washed back,
essentially,
yeah.
I think he said it was like an end of summer, late summer program.
Yeah, summer into
Covered
sometime.
I thought he talked about spring, because I thought
Yeah.
it was coming up
It was,
soon.
about summer. I was thinking,
Summer.
yes, May, June timeframe, yeah.
It's once
I think
we
it was
cover-
May, no, I honestly think it was like
Oh.
May-ish, yeah.
I guess May
So-
is spring, isn't it, kinda?
Yeah, so,
keep
just
thinking
because I
summer.
know that's coming, so
Yeah,
we're
yes.
on top of that.
And we're looking at our last council meeting, we had a conversation, that question came up about that work that used to be there, and I said that we're putting it on our as we're planning our budget season, putting on our operations, and making a normal standard operational work, and it is in our operational budget proposal. Where was I going with this? Oh, that's, one of the suggestions is getting one of our folks to be licensed to drive, those bigger equipments instead of, because when we contract out, it's not just for the equipment, we also contract a driver to come and do that, so that makes that cost a little bit wilder. So we can get somebody, and Rob and I are working on that right now, just get somebody into class so that they can get licensed and be able to drive those.
So then it's just the equipment rental?
The equipment
And then
rental,
all the
correct.
man hours are our own hours? Okay.
Yes.
That's good to know.
No, go ahead.
I just was going to say thank you. I thought the presentation to City Council was the best forward-looking 5-year CIP plan
Thank you.
I've seen since I've been living in the city. And I really appreciate.
I would agree.
I really appreciate the strategic and multi-year approach and the recognition that things take planning and then implementation and importantly, maintenance, once you've
Yes.
implemented something.
Most definitely.
I thought Cherie did a beautiful job
Yes.
presenting, and I think your whole team, the whole Public Works is really thriving under your leadership. So thank you for your
Good
service
group-
and
good
for
group
what
of
you've done.
folks. Yep.
It's great.
Shari did a great job.
Yeah,
Great
Shari did
hire
great. Yeah,
for
she-
sure.
she
We
was a
need
great
another
hire.
Shari.
One of the things we put out there, you try to put that crystal ball of the future, the second, third, fourth. It's like, okay, we want you to understand that might cost this much. It's not saying that that's the exact dollars, but be ready. Do you want to start it now? And do you want to invest in it? Instead of getting a design, then say, well, wait a minute, $4 million, $5 million, I don't know if we wanted to do that. And then we just wasted that money and all that report. So it's kind of give a vision of the future.
I do have some questions. Sorry, Neal. On the North Dunes project,
Yes.
so you've got $23,500 for the ice plant removal. In the CIP, under the North Dunes project was $500,000 listed. What's the $477,000
So that one,
for?
on the CIP thing,
Yeah.
that one's for the long-term work. We're gonna do some ice work now. That stuff's gonna come right back. This is really getting in there and getting all the invasives out of the way, but also planning the restoration. So, ice plants don't have that, lead on coming back as opposed to, having more native, features there. So there's the whole, Mary has this vision of that restoration and along with these guys here. So it's a bigger restoration than just the $21,000 ice plant removal.
Okay. On the Carmel Beach Sea Level Rise Adaptation Project, it says they're working on it. Do we have some idea of when we'll get their report?
I don't have that off the top of my head, but I can find that out.
Okay, that would be good to know, just when that's coming. Can you talk to me a little bit about the emergency repair at the 11th Avenue? I heard a little something about what might have caused that. And I'm just interested to understand, is that a problem throughout that entire pathway now, or what's going on there?
So we've had 3 engineers. Shari's not licensed, but she's studied in engineering. She got a master's degree in engineering. And we also have 2 contract engineers. Moses from,
Haro and Kucinich.
Haro Kucinich, and Sherman from Neal. All of us were walking through there, what needs to be done. And what we noticed from all our eyes, and I've done a lot of restoration work myself too, especially with hydrology, you can see where it drains and the water accumulates, and there's these strips of wood on the bottom.
Right.
And the decomposed granite is lower than the top of the wood, the wood. And so what's happening is the water accumulates and starts scouring and finds its shortest path, and then it uses that as its funnel, and that's why you get a lot of runoff and erosion. Now, it's okay to have a runner like that, but it should be more flush, or you raise up the decomposed granite, or the combination of the two. You make sure that everything, the water can flow and sheet over. It should sheet over instead of accumulating.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. So what we're doing now is we're gonna remove some of those runners to prepare for next year, because we got to do this long-term, where we've got these consultants on board to do the design of that whole pathway from 8th until 11th. We're focusing on that area first, just to make sure, what do we need to do? We're looking at granitecrete instead of decomposed granite, which is a little bit solid, holds a lot longer. Slope it just perfectly, and then also if we have a runner on the side, making sure that's flush. So it's just a whole project work.
Okay. And do you have any time frame for that-ish?
For that part, well, we're gonna be doing that other work now, which is just preparing for next year. So we're finishing up, our contractor, we're getting on staff who's already did a design with that 11th Avenue erosion, the restoration of that crack in the road. But we're looking at doing, removing some of those runners and filling some DG right now to prepare for next winter. But it's gonna take a little bit of time to do the full engineering study and assessment so that the hydrology is perfect for that.
Can I make a quick question and comment on that? Because I remember when that was being done, when that work was being done, and all of the wood that was put down at the base, it replaced what was there, and it was replaced in the same way from what I understand. But I think it was supposed to be a two-part project, and we were supposed to put the DG, I can remember when they were looking at the different products, some had more concrete than others. They were trying to sort of come up with just the perfect mix. So is it also true that part two wasn't done? Because there is a big dip. I tend to, when I walk on scenic, I stay to the roadside because you just sort of, it dips in. So are we going to be putting that wood back? Are we taking it away just so it doesn't cause any further problems? But we would need to put it back, though.
So we looked at a lot of
point.
past photos, and a lot of areas didn't have that wood, like the wood disappeared or rotted away, or it was really low and worn down. So water was sheeting over before. So when they put the wood in, I don't know what it looked like when they first initially put it in there. But if it was at the right level at that time, yes, you can see the decomposed granite is much lower. But that should have been put in at that same time.
Right.
Or the wood put down lower, like dug a trench and a little bit lower. Because what's the purpose of that runner? Is to keep that DG from spilling over the side. But it should just be like it's flush with the ground.
Okay.
So I have one more question. For the stairs, so we go out to bid this month, hopefully.
Yes.
What's the then timeframe kind of past this? How long does it take? How long do they have to put the bids in? Just give me a rough estimate of
So
how
I believe, and I could be corrected if I'm wrong, but I think the minimum we have to go out to bid is 2 weeks. We also have to have, a pre-bid, people walk through to have questions about the construction of it itself. But after that couple weeks and we get some bids in, we can go ahead and open those bids and then start putting a contract together. And I just talked to Brandon that it looks like we can put it on because it has to be approved still by the council to get into a contract, because the contract's gonna be more than $100,000, because it's 2 stairs that we're gonna be working with. So we're gonna be looking at, I think there's gonna probably be a special meeting middle of May of next month. Once they approve that there, we can go to town and start the project probably by June 1st.
Okay, good.
That's my goal.
Did your question get answered somewhere there?
I'm gonna ask my question during this report.
Okay.
Any other questions? All good?
Do you want to look, is there anybody in the audience who has a comment, or anybody online with that?
Shirley, go ahead.
Oh, sure.
Hey, Shirley.
Shirley, if you're there, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Sorry.
Hey, Shirley.
Okay. I haven't been able to get through before.
You made it with us.
Yeah.
We can hear you. Go
ice plant removal and funded. Why isn't the role of ice plant on sea walls fund and the railing or the baseboard?
Shirley, we're not able to hear you.
Can you still hear me?
You're breaking up.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Do you want to try again? I think we can hear you better now if you want to start over.
I don't know what's going on, why you can't hear me.
We can hear you now. It's not breaking up right
Okay.
now if you want to try again.
All right.
Thank you.
The first comment I had and question really, since the removal of ice plant fully funded, why is there not ice plant off of the seawalls? We were successful in removing all of that ice plant, and with the
It's breaking up a little bit
paint
again,
off of the
Shirley.
seawalls forever. The weight of it, shall I give up? That's,
I don't know if we
I'll get-
got your entire comment, Shirley. I'm so sorry. It was breaking up a little bit at points. I don't know if you're moving around, but.
no,
Shirley, you can just email me your
Right.
comments and stuff, and definitely, I welcome that.
yeah, I'll do that because I have some guidance on the railing. It's misunderstood why it was put in there. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you, Shirley. Anybody else? Yvette? No? Okay. All right. Justin, you ready?
All right, thank you for moving that around for me. All right, this is the March 2026 Foresters Report. In terms of the Carmel Forest Mass Management Plan, I've been in contact with Stephanie from Dudek, and she had reached out to me stating that she wants to set up a time to talk, so I think she's towards the end of her analysis, but we're scheduled to talk this week, but been playing phone tag, so in the next, hopefully, either tomorrow or early next week, I'll be able to talk to her and provide updates upon that, on that for the next month's meeting. I don't know if anyone's seen West Coast Arborists out there right now. They've been grinding 21 stumps, or 32, sorry, that was the old one. 32 stumps, and we're having them replant right back into the spots, so it's just really accelerating the reforestation efforts.
Yvette, can I ask you to put up his report? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I just asked him to change the screen.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just wait. Or do you want me to keep going?
No, it's fine. You go ahead. You go ahead. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate
I'm
it.
not.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, there it is. So it's worked out really well. They have a big truck with soil and water, so they can just plant them and stake them, so we don't even have to go back to reuse the stump areas. They're just doing it automatically for us. And Taupe was given several more trees, and we continue, for all the trees we're removing, pruning, having our biological consultant do the pre-work bird surveys. And we're just sending out a couple more task orders now, and we're just trying to get everything done by the end of the fiscal year, try to get as many stumps as possible. And if this works with West Coast, maybe even just planting trees, because it seems like it's really working out the way they're doing it. Our crew removed 5 trees, planted 32 trees. We really made an effort this month because of rightfully so, we were kind of low on that. And I don't want to just play the seesaw in response to the outcry, because we really do want to plant trees, and we got a part of the problem was no nurseries had Monterey pines. Like someone would come in and buy all of them. So we found a nursery that had a good stock, And we're just trying to plant as many oaks, pines, cypresses, and redwoods as we can. What?
I'm sorry.
What?
Keep going.
No, what?
I thought we had a nursery that we were managing ourselves with Monterey Pines.
With our genetic stock.
Yes.
That never got off the ground. That was the idea. We haven't done it. We're gonna go with a contract grow this next coming year to grow Monterey Pines for us.
Okay.
So the ones we have are it's not at scale. We have like some here and there. We don't have a full blown nursery.
So, Justin, the 32 that we're planting, where you found them, none of them are from our genetic stock?
Well, they're from local genetic stock. They're from drought resistant, which is local.
But not from Carmel?
Not from cones.
I mean, I thought that was one of the big kind of things about replacing the pine forest is
Well,
it
yeah,
should
with-
come from
with
our local genetic
local,
stock.
and that's what drought resistance in Carmel Valley. They're right there, and they're local trees. Local genetic stock. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this just even separate from our management or master plan, like having a specific strategy around our Monterey Pines, the replenishment of our forest and legacy sites. We've brainstormed some, I think, really good ideas, but I think it would be useful for we value these trees to make sure that we either support a nursery and we put one in place, or we contract with nurseries so that.
Yeah, and-
Because it comes across, Justin, like we don't have like an organized plan. And these are, maybe we do, but I just think we want to make sure that we're proactive about the replanting.
Yeah, and we're trying to plant as many trees as possible, given our time. We're outside of storm season, and we're getting local trees, local genetic stock.
I see them up in Forest Hill. I see there's some nice new trees that have gone in there. Yeah.
Thank you. Then we've also been doing weed whacking around several places alongside our landscape contractor. And there was some irrigation valves that broke in Vista Lobos Park that our landscape technician repaired. And there's always PG&E logs to pick up, so we're in the middle of that. We received 31 permits and issued 20, with 12 prunings, 20 removals, and required 29 trees to be replanted, so we're up on that. We received 192 tickets, and Archana did another blitz and closed out 299 tickets. So we're working back in our backlog of resident emails and calls. And, yeah.
So I have a question for you, Justin, on, can you explain, and maybe Ken too, I know Hans and a team were working on getting tree wells downtown planted. And then you guys came up with a plan, I think a prototype, and got 21 trees in the ground is what I heard downtown.
Yeah, we've been replanting there pretty heavily. Could I call up my assistant forester?
Yeah, there was a plan for the 26 trees that,
26.
and we planted
afternoon.
from that list. More than that, but we planted how many?
Hi, Commissioners and Chair. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah, so we have some now planted approximately, actually 24 out of the 27, I think. And the 2 spots that are left, one of them still has a stump, which we're gonna obviously stump grind and then plant. And one of them, it had a fire hydrant on, so we're not gonna plant it. So we're also just being strategic of where we're putting these trees. We don't just wanna put a tree because we have a spot, correct?
So when you guys report trees planted, are those included in what you say got planted during the month or not?
Yeah, we don't look at downtown differently
Okay.
than anywhere else.
So my understanding is from that group that they want to plant about another 75 in open tree wells downtown, my understanding was that there's 100 open tree wells in the total downtown, and the goal is to plant them all. This is what Hans asked for money for.
I don't think there's 100.
Yeah,
If we
that's
walked it right now,
way too
you
high.
would see
Yeah,
maybe
I'd have to see
2 to
those.
3.
It'd be nice, it would be good to hear about that, just because I know we don't count downtown differently. I get that, but we also are looking at, you know, there's, I think we planted, since I started on the commission, if I did the math, we planted 98 trees since last June-ish. And what I'm just afraid of is that this group wants, and the number I heard was about 70 more planted downtown. And what I don't want to see is the resources only going downtown.
They're not, and
That's,
I am not familiar with that.
Yeah.
So I'd have to look at those reports or numbers, but we're trying to get as many trees everywhere, and we don't want empty tree wells. If we're not gonna use a tree well for any reason, like if it's not functional or if there's a hydrant or something, or really, really shallow utilities, then we will either close it up or put something like a low shrub or a native flower.
Okay.
and we're definitely not neglecting other areas of the city.
I would never categorize this as neglect. I think, you guys are always full of competing resources is all I see.
Yeah, we just want to assure you, we're
You
focusing
gotta
on.
focus on,
the entire
I get it,
forest.
you get competing resources, I just wanna make sure when, it seemed like disproportionate, if those are the right numbers, going into downtown, and I just don't want that to be not, stopping anything that goes on in the rest of the city.
Yeah, we're definitely, planting all over the city.
Okay,
We'll do an audit before next meeting. I'll commit to that,
yeah, thanks.
of downtown.
Thank you, Renee.
Thanks, Renee.
Commissioner Rutta?
I have a couple questions. So first, I just kind of wanted to comment on the Monterey pine seedlings or saplings, whatever. First, I was under the impression we had a nursery, so if that was my mistake, it seems like it's a good idea. I just would comment that if we don't own and control that, and having the native species available, that's a risk. If we're, expecting outside nurseries or outside vendors to have this, that's a risk, and we should probably consider doing something about that. That's the first thing. Second, in order of importance, the third one's the most important. Last month I asked you about the account for the in lieu fees. Any information on that? Who has access to it? How much money is in it?
We have access to it, I believe, Jane said it's either $150,000 or $160,000.
So there's a fair amount in there,
There's a
which is
lot of
good.
money, yes.
Okay,
So we have money for replanting.
okay. So you have access to it, Renee has access to it?
Yeah, and and there's multiple levers. We can either, I'd have to get the specifics, because I've never tapped into it directly, but we could either spend out of it or do a budget transfer to our
Okay.
materials and supplies accounts.
Is it possible / worthwhile, and I guess that's a question for everybody, to have you report out on a regular basis of how much is in that fund?
Definitely.
Okay, that'd be great. Third and most important question, I wanted to go to the master plan, the forest master plan.
Okay.
So there's a CEQA, forest, yeah. So there's a CEQA analysis going on, which is great. Is she looking at, and this is a kind of a question too I have, is this person looking at the document that's currently on the website and it's available to all of us? Okay. If there's going to be changes after this analysis, do we have to go back to this person?
She's not changing, you're asking if she's not
No,
doing
no,
that
no,
change?
no. If there's subsequent changes.
Yes. If they're substantive.
Substantive, yeah.
Okay.
Substantive changes, yes.
I think we'd have to at least have her review to say, will this trigger further CEQA analysis?
Okay, because the one I looked at, there's some formatting issues, there's some text in different colors. Certainly, it's not a document that I would release to the city council, and I just kind of wanted to bring that up and make sure everybody was aware of.
Yeah, I mean, the whole plan that I spelled out before we still got formatting to do. This was just all about the text and information to assess, is the science and the analysis in there. And we are going to have, probably Dudek, don't they do graphic designs and stuff like that and contract to create it, make them look
Yeah,
nice
or they
and
would
clean?
have someone that they would know where to point us. But that's minor and after the fact, because the major thing is we want to make sure we're in compliance with the law.
Yeah.
That we're not causing this plan is not causing significant alterations to the natural environment.
Right. I'd rather over-communicate right now and just make sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah, okay, so thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for Justin? Anybody online, Yvette?
No, at this time.
I'm sorry, are we planting any trees on Earth Day this year?
Yes, we'll be planting at least one tree during Earth and Arbor Day.
In
In the park,
the park?
yeah.
Is there any chance it can be a Monterey pine?
We'll add one.
I just, if it's the right tree in the right, I don't know, I just always wonder why we don't have a,
Like a ceremony?
Monterey, why we don't have any, yeah. The oaks are pretty, but anyhow.
Well, we planted an oak last year. It actually died. So then we replanted with a very large Monterey pine, and it's doing very well. So,
Maybe it needs a friend.
well,
Maybe.
we'll plant more, and we'll bring more than one tree to plant for Arbor Day.
I'm just going to announce one more time that Earth and Arbor Day is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, April 18th, Devendorf Park. And I have for future agenda items that we're going to address the in lieu fee for the replenishment of our Monterey pine forest and look into a nursery of our local genetic stock. Does anybody else have anything else to add for future agenda items?
For next month, we have revisiting the prior appeal.
Are they going to be back? next
Yeah,
month? Okay.
again, there was a process issue this month, so
Okay.
we'll be back to that. And hopefully next month, we'll be hearing the new details on the new Leadership Carmel project
Okay.
in Forest Hill Park.
Okay. All right.
Tamara, I might expand the in lieu on the Monterey pine to think a little bit about it a little bit goes overlap with the management or master plan, but the total number of trees we have and how old they are. Like, so in 20, year by year, how many pines do we want to be planting so that in 2050 we have X number of Monterey pines that are 20 or 25 years old, right? Like, how do we get to a place, because they grow fast, right? But when will we have our next, how do we think of it almost as like cohorts? Like how are we going to start the cohorts?
Well, I think that's why we are where we are, where we have all of these aging trees. There was a period of time where we weren't planting and replanting trees, so we have this big gap. We have all these young trees and these aging trees. So I think that's a great idea. So essentially, you want to look at the
Like
strategy.
mapping, yeah.
Okay, planting strategy. Get ready for next month. Justin, okay. All right, anything else from anybody? No? Okay, all right, with that, we are adjourned at, what time is it? 4:44. Thanks, everybody.